So just what is Love 3 Define? And why do you guys need to come out to the Love 3 Define book tour on Saturday, June 22nd? Well, very simple. Love is simplistic, but it's complex. It's a simplistic but very complex concept for people to understand. I compare love to the ocean. Our exploration of love is similar to humanity's exploration of the ocean. Less than 5% of the ocean has actually been explored, and less than 10% of the ocean has actually been mapped out. I would say the same for love. Less than 5% of the depths and the expanse of love have actually been explored by humanity. The same with the ocean. So we don't know what it is we think we know based on what we've experienced on the surface. Does not detail the depths of what's below. And we haven't been able to get that far. So there's so much more to love that it is we need to understand that we don't understand. And I believe the unknown is the biggest problem. There's so many unknowns, and people have, as a result of not knowing and an unwillingness to pursue after the satisfying pleasures that accompany love, as a result of the deep depths to which we would have to go to recover and explore and not only come in contact with the blessing of it, but we also have to come in contact with the difficulties of it. Most people have been unwilling to go to those depths. So I want to talk about that, and everything that I talk about, or I will talk about, is compacted in my books. I am the author of 7 books. 6 currently published. I have 1 in publication. I have 2 more that I'm working on, and I have 1 that is ready to be published. I'm just paying for the illustrations, which takes a little bit of time. It's actually a children's book. My books are all movie ready. It's not a how-to book, or they're not how-to books. They're actually story ready, but the concepts, I'm a heavy writer. I'm a heavy thinker. So my goal and objective is to challenge people to think about why. Why do you make the decisions you make? Why do you do the things that you do? Why do you love the way that you love? So all these things tie into this. So love is like the ocean. And the one thing about the ocean, you have to respect the water. It requires for you to respect the water. In order for me to explore the benefits and the beauty of what lies beneath the surface, I have to be willing to surrender my will over to the greater will of the water. I have to conform to the requirements and the expectations of what are necessary for me to be able to naturally come under the rule and authority of the water, to be able to explore the benefits of what it is it provides. The things that I cannot see naturally. Well, love is the same way. Love has already previously planned, prior to the aid of its pursuers, a goal and a destiny, an objective for us to be able to reach, and for us to be able to explore the satisfying pleasures that it has to offer. But it's up to us to be able to understand just a few things. So the Love 3 Define deals with the collaboration of 3 perspectives, 3 points of view that are extremely important. One point of view is the truth. Then there's one side, then there's the other side. I always tell people, when you get into relationships, there's your side, the other side, and then there's the truth of the matter. Well, here's the truth. God is love. And everything with regard to love starts with God. Matter of fact, it's impossible for you to love without God. There's no way that you can actually accomplish love. Now, you can pretend to love. A lot of people are in pretend as opposed to walking in the reality of love's experience. Love is an experience that we have to have. It's something that we have to consciously choose daily to do. So it's an experience. Love is an experience. And that's not the definition I'm going to give you. There's a deeper definition. But it's an experience. An experience starts with God. It's important for you to know how to love yourself. The only way you can learn how to love yourself, in order for you to love somebody else that you would suggest as your significant other, is you have to learn how to love God first, because God will always outlove you loving you. You cannot love yourself better than God loves you. God will always outlove you, even when it comes to you loving you. So because God is the epitome, he's the ideal representation of everything that love is, because he is love, he sets the groundwork for what love is supposed to look like in the reality that you and I live in. He establishes that with his son. Jesus is the epitome of God's action of love. In the realm of reality that you and I live in, he comes down to love us, not because we asked him to, just because he does it out of the good kindness of his heart. Love is the opportunity to show an attitude of approach towards the object of your affection, to let them know that you're possessed with the power, the promise, the patience, and the presence to be able to care for somebody the way that they were created to be cared for or loved, the way they were created to be loved. So that's what love does. And the first part of that is understanding God. The second part is, or the second perspective is the male perspective. The third perspective is the female perspective. Now, these perspectives are different because the roles of responsibility that have been designated for each person to carry out in this person of love, or this concept of love, are distinctly different. So genders, you're specifically gendered based on the expectation you were created to carry out within the framework of love. So when these three, God, when a man and a female with their different perspectives come together under the unction or the umbrella of what it is God created for them, then love can authentically express itself in a reality of what it is, the true intent and origin, the authenticity of the origin for authenticity of the original intent for why it was created can be expressed clearly. Now, it's important for those two individuals to understand a few things. So here go the 3 E's that I say. And this is what I'm going to talk about during the show. It's all these things. I'll get into it in a minute. But the 3 E's are, you have to be able to give energy, effort, and execution. Each individual in this relationship, because God has already given his effort, he's already given his energy, and he's already given the execution. He's already done everything that it is we needed to know how to do. He's actually modeled for us the expectation without just placing the demand for us to live up to an expectation that was never modeled. He showed us how to do. He did for us. And he did it for us with the clothes that we had on. In other words, he took off the glory that he had in heaven and he put on the glory, fallen glory of humanity, and he walks down here in love, demonstrating for us what love is supposed to look like, demonstrating for us the effort, the energy, and the execution of love. So all those things are necessary. You have to know of whether or not you should call into question of whether or not you have the energy to love somebody. Do you have the physical ability to be able to endure and or put up and or handle the responsibility of the person that you're with? You can take that however you want. Whatever physical energy you need, can you actually carry out the role of assignment or the rolling assignment that was designated upon you to be able to love that person into the posturing position of being the best person that they could possibly be with regard to the person they were created to be by God? The next thing is, do you have the effort? Do you have the willpower? This is a good one. I was married, got divorced, and it's okay. Things like that happen. And a lot of people who know you or who knew you when you were married, it's difficult at times for them to be able to accept the other side of you not being married, because most people are under the assumption that you'll be married for eternity, which is something. I always tell people, just because two things are destined to be together doesn't ever mean they'll meet destiny, because it's up to the two individuals in the marriage to make it work. It's also on the two individuals in the marriage when it doesn't work. It's on them. So people will come to me and say, hey, do you believe that you gave your very best effort? Do you believe that you gave the very best energy? Do you believe that you did everything in your power to execute what was necessary in order for her to be loved the way that God created for her to be loved? And I say, that's a good question. But what if I say to them, yes, I believe that I did. I believe that I did everything in my power to love that particular person. Now, I could be wrong, but to love that person the way that God intended for them to be loved. But let me ask you this. Should I stay if that particular individual is not willing to love me the way that God created me to be loved? Good question. Should I stay? Because I need for them to love me so that I can become the individual. So they provide me with a platform to become the individual that I need to be. So we'll get into that at the show. Listen, love is a beautiful thing. And it's a thing that I would love for everybody to be able to experience. But the problem is we don't understand it. I look at the world today and people define love in so many different ways. And we have so many distinguishing definitions of what love is based on people's experience. And it's unfortunate because when you base something on your experience and you don't base it on the truth of why it was created or what it is, then a lot of times you put people who are willing or who are possessed with the power to love you, who are willing to love you, you put them in a compromising position because now you're going to ask them to become something they're not in order to put up with somebody you keep pretending to be. I say that all the time, but I can't love who you pretend to be. I stop. I can only love the person you are. So I don't know how much of that you got because the video cut off and then it come back out. I don't know why. But I would just reiterate. So people want you to love somebody that they've created. They don't go back to the creator to find out the person they're supposed to be. They want you to love an idea that they created. And I always, just understand the knowledge of love is a more influential core principle in a good success of love relations than the idea of love itself. It's more influential, knowing how to love an individual. And when you know how to love an individual, but that individual doesn't know how they need to be loved, and then they create an identity, a false identity, and then they expect you to compromise the integrity of who it is you are to love somebody that they're not. So come to the Love 3 Define book tour. I'm saying it all. It's exciting, man. I have a special guest chef coming out. Chef Mo. She's coming out to cook for us. Her restaurant is called Mo Knows, Mo Love, Mo Energy, and Me on a Plate. The Me on a Plate concept is her on a plate, which means she cooks with the energy. So you'll be able to taste the energy with which she cooks. You'll be able to taste the love with which she expresses and shares through her food. Love can be expressed through many different ways. So we would love for you to come out. Once again, the show is June 22nd. That is a Saturday, June 22nd. It will be at Brighton Academy in Douglasville, Georgia. It's 5897 Presley Mills Road, Douglasville, Georgia, 30135. Now, we say it starts at 6:30. We're really going to start about 7, but we'd love for you to be there at 6:30. I'm doing live performances. I'm doing a show. I'm doing spoken word. I'm doing music. You're going to hear me sing. You're going to hear me flow. You're going to see me in an element that you've never seen me in before. And I'm excited, man. This is an opportunity for me to be new. Used to pastor, used to do all that. But I just feel like I have a different way to express the realities of love. And let me say this. Regardless of whether or not you failed in love, the opportunity for you to recover from your failure is a great thing. We all fail. We all make mistakes. There's no such thing as perfection. And one thing that irritates me is when people act like they have it all together. We have to become more transparent, and not to share everything that you go through in your relationships, but you have to be transparent enough to help people understand there's no such thing as perfection with the exception of love. God's love is perfect, but we are imperfect people. And all of us have issues that we bring to the table anytime it comes to this concept. So we want to talk about these, man. I'm going to flow. I'm going to do my little Kanye thing where I'm going to come in and I'm going to do the music and I'm going to flow and then I'm going to give it to you. And then I'm going to sit here and break it down. I'm going to sign books. Make sure that you come with your pocketbook. You come with your money because I'm coming to bring it. I'm going to have a good time. You got to purchase the books. And And there are 3 books in particular that I'll be highlighting in this particular. These are all my love books. So The Wounded Leader, there's a chapter in there called The Eulogy, written by the sexy and vivacious Miss Destiny. I'm coming from that particular chapter, which explores the love interest of the superhero character that I created. I have another book called The Superhero Lover and His Explicit Behavior in Between the Sheets, which deals with the ecstasy of relationships up until they get to the point of a chapter called Through the Fire. Yeah, it's good. I use a lot of wordplay in my books. And my last love book was called To Love Her No More, which leaves it up to the 2 of them to decide after some time in marriage, which a lot of marriages come to, is just going to continue to work. And what necessary adjustments do we need to make? I write from both perspectives, so you can see the woman's point of view, you can see the man's point of view, and the woman's point of view. That's one thing that I highlight in my book. So listen, man, I love y'all. Please come on out. The show, go to Eventbrite. The tickets are on Eventbrite. It's not sold out. They're still available. You need to go get your tickets. You need to go get them ASAP. Go get them right away. Still plenty of seats. Still plenty of space. I know I said it was sold out, but it's not sold out. So the tickets are on Eventbrite. Go to Love, LOVE 3, the number 3, Define, DEFINE. And then you will see everything there. Okay? All right. Love y'all.